My name is Lindsay Harn. I am the Relationship Manager with WhosOnLocation, now part of MRI. So just looking through today's agenda, we're going to talk through what we are seeing in the market, challenges that organizations are facing, solutions, a quick product demo. So let's go ahead and get started. We'll go ahead and have a look at Market Pulse Check. So when we're looking at the market, I'm pretty sure we all know that the curveball of COVID-19 hit us pretty well last year and have continued to carry on this year. And so when we're seeing that, this poses a lot of different challenges for everyone out there in the world and operating. We had a commissioned study that we had for various customers and organizations throughout the globe. And what we found back of those trends and highlights from those employees is that employee health and tracking and screening is really important to those employees as they're looking at getting back to work and going back to the workplace and just feeling safe and able to be there. They definitely are wanting a touchless entry and exit, so that hygienic option, so that there's not that fear of germs carrying, and especially with COVID-19 still in the world. And then we have our mobile apps where people can sign in and out via their phone. And that would be them wanting, these employees wanting a hygienic option to manage people coming and going out of their building. The big focus is on people presence. Again, it always was, but it's definitely a huge priority out there with all of that health and safety needs in the world right now. And that's just organizations looking at protecting everyone coming and going out of their building now, and definitely future-proofing should anything arise again, or just the need based on any type of requirements that come up. So there's challenges that we're all facing in the marketplace. So the challenges that we're seeing is definitely all organizations are having to really look at adapting to this new territory of working from home, going back to work, back in the office. And organizations are really having to look at different options to get their companies and their workers back up and running. An Australian study by Randstad detailed 41% of employees are upgrading technology in response to the pandemic. We absolutely see that across the globe. Everyone is definitely looking at more of an online option and a more robust solution than they may have already been using, if they had already been using one at all. 88% have been investing in safety and ensuring the health of employees. And that just goes back to those staff and everyone coming and going out of the building and making sure that they feel safe and enabled to come to work and do their job and get back to work and working in those buildings. And 85% felt working from home and remote working have the biggest impact on how organizations are currently operating. And that might be a negative or a positive. It really just depends on how those companies adapted and changed and what new policies that they put in place. So solutions, I know everyone's out there looking for solutions to help manage all of this. So what we are seeing, organizations have a greater focus on a process to understand who is on site, and manual systems are definitely not really an option anymore. They're wanting that cloud, quick-based reporting and a quick way to manage people coming and going out of their building. And ensuring employees feel safe in the workplace by knowing the correct processes and procedures are in place. And that also comes with making sure your staff feel safe to come and go out of the building and that you can get back to work and those policies are in place and everyone feels safe enough to do their work. And those companies have that duty of care to make sure that is in place. And that really is what that all folds into. And we're seeing an increased need for a digital log everyone who comes on site, such as contact tracing. So that's that recording. It's not just that written in a book, because then we're touching paper and a pen. It's more of that online digital log of everyone coming and going to make sure that everyone is safe coming and going out of the buildings. And carrying out pandemic screening to identify risks. That's if anyone's coming into the building, let's make sure that they're healthy and that they should be there, that they're not a risk to those who are currently in the building. And making this process as touchless as possible. That's definitely been a concern and something that we're seeing an increased need for, when that just comes down to that hygienic need of not wanting to touch anything anymore. So when we look at how WhosOnLocation can help, well, we are an integrated system. And what that means is that we manage the health and safety of employees, contractors, and visitors from a single platform, so that you or your customers don't have to go out and get a different program to manage each one of these people coming and going out of your building. You actually can use our one single solution to manage everyone. And the nice thing is that we are aware that it's not just visitors coming and going out of a building or employees. We're aware that there's more than that, and everyone's coming and going out of buildings that need to be monitored. We have access, so we have our full COVID feature set that you have access to. It's included in every plan, and that includes a lot of that hygienic sign-in, that contact tracing, our apps, and so forth. And we're quick and easy to set up. So very flexible hardware, such as a PC or a Windows tablet or an iPad. And we have fast options for implementation. So we're cloud-based. There's no download. You just quickly get online and get going. So when we're looking at a quick and easy setup here, this is for an option that maybe someone doesn't want to have a kiosk or a full device on site or hardware. You can just have a poster with a QR code where visitors and contractors and employees can quickly scan that to sign in. It's fully hygienic. And then the host, so those visitors hosting the visitor, the employee hosting the visitor, then receives a notification that someone has arrived to see them or that someone is unwell that's trying to sign in. And then we have our reporting, where you can contain an outbreak quickly, do that contact tracing, and in the admin end, you can print those out and notify people as needed. So the standard configuration here, that has more involved in it, and that's going to be more of that kiosk or hardware option. So we've got the touchless sign-in, again, via a kiosk or a QR code poster or a mobile app. That's for employees and contractors to be able to sign in. We have health and screening questions that you can ask people as they're signing in. And then we do have also an access, deny, or grant entry to people. That's just based on those health screening questions and how they answer. Acknowledgement notices. So if you have a setting where you have need for managing people coming and going out of your building and letting them know about any new policies that have updated, and you just want to let them know that, you can easily do that where there's a pop-up and they can acknowledge that information. You can print badges to know that people have actually signed in and to be aware that those people are on site and they've gone through the right processes. And then we have the standard configuration again, just continued for maximum occupancy rules there. And that's where you can receive alerts if there's too many people on site. You can set those thresholds and make sure that no one else is signing in, or that employees are notified that we've hit that threshold. We have our reporting, so that's online, easy to access. That's part of that contact tracing, and that's easy to print out at any time. And then instant messaging, where you can notify those who are on site should there have been an outbreak, and just let them know what's going on and contain that outbreak very quickly. All right, so now we're just going to go ahead and switch to the quick product demonstration, and I'm going to take you through some of these COVID features that we talked about. I know we spent a lot of time talking about that getting back to work and how WhosOnLocation can help right now with COVID-19 management. I'm going to be taking you through those features along with a few other features that I think are really useful and really tick those boxes for when you're looking at a certain type of people presence management solution. So what I've got up here is the sign in and out kiosk, and we call a kiosk a self-serve sign-in device. Now this can be on an iPad or a Windows tablet or a standard PC. So any of those options work as long as they're connected to the internet. What you see here is the standard sign in and sign out buttons, so people can still touch the screen to sign in. We also have a QR code option that can be presented on the kiosk as well. And if anyone has a requirement for this to be fully touchless, we have the option to have the QR code as the full screen, and there's no actual traditional touching. So if you even wanted to scan that right now, you could. And what you would see on your phone is you would actually see what the sign in and out kiosk looks like, but on your phone. So let's go ahead and sign in. And we're going to go ahead and be a visitor. But these are the different options of people who can sign in. So the main first requirement is, what is your name? Now that's not something that can change. That will always be the same. So we'll go ahead and pop in a name now. So Sam Brown is going to be signing in. Now everything after what is your name is completely customizable and something that you or the customer can set up for themselves depending upon what you need. So we have an enter your organization. So this helps track who's who of signing in. Maybe if I had 2 Sam Browns signing in that day, how would I know who's who? Especially if there was an outbreak and I needed to do some contact tracing. So I can go ahead and type in the company that Sam is from. We'll go ahead and be from ABC Inc. And then after that, there might be additional questions that you want to ask, such as the cell phone number, especially when it connects to contact tracing. Now, I have not made this required, so there are ways to make certain questions required, and some might just be an option. And so for this, I can go ahead and skip that, and that's the option that I've given. So are you visiting someone today? This can be a yes or a no, or it can be disabled altogether, or it can be a requirement that they have to visit someone. So we'll go ahead and say yes. And then we're just going to choose from the employee list that's been pre-populated in the account of who we can visit. Now there is always an option. There is always an option to have certain staff members be non-host options, meaning their name would never show as of someone that a visitor can visit, but they can still be loaded to the account to receive different types of notifications. Now, purpose of visit. This is a great option, and a lot of our customers use this. This can go into the report as to why people are on site, and it can also be printed out onto a badge pass when a visitor signs in. So these are completely customizable and up to you and or the customer to decide what options work for their facility. Now we have what we call our custom questions. And pre-COVID, it was quite common to have some kind of a document that people sign or rules or regulations that show. But for this, we're asking COVID questions because that's pretty much what we're seeing in the marketplace right now. So I've actually set up a rule here, and you can do this for any of these type of questions, that if I was to choose yes, because I probably don't want someone coming on site if they're sick, that I can deny access and also notify team members. We also still have the option where people can sign their name here. So as you can see, there is still that signature. Now with these custom questions, we have the option to have an open text field. We have images, multiple choice, single choice, image waivers, videos, documents that people sign. There's a whole bunch of options, and it should really meet those requirements for what you or your customers need to ask in their facility. And we'll go ahead and acknowledge that sign-in. So now I've gone ahead and signed in, and if I had a badge pass being printed out, I would have that badge pass now printed out. So now what I've got to show you is how different employees can sign in, because we do have some different options, which we talked about in the earlier presentation. And so the great thing is that visitors can come up and scan this QR code. Contractors can come up and scan this QR code, and employees. They don't have to be pre-registered. Employees do, however, as do contractors, because they have profiles. But for visitors, anyone can scan this. Now you can lock this down, so only your pre-registered guests can scan that QR code and sign in. But if you don't want your staff to have to scan a QR code and sign in at a kiosk, we do have an option where they can download a WhosMobile app on their phone, and that's another touchless option for them to sign in. So I'm going to go ahead and show you what that looks like. So what I have here is the app on my phone. So I can actually get visitor arrival notifications in this app, along with other types of notifications. And in here, these are those different offices that I can sign into. We have my main office, or there is a remote working option if you wanted to track staff who are working from home and you just wanted to make sure that they are signing in and actually working. So we'll go ahead and choose to sign in to my main office. Now I can set up a geofence, which is really great. And that's using Google Maps and your location tracking and the address to your building. So as soon as I walk into that perimeter with my phone, all I have to do is have the app, the WhosOnLocation app on my phone, and it can log me on site or off site as I walk in and out of that geofence. I'm currently not within that geofence for my office, so I'm going to manually sign in. So here's that button here, and I go ahead and hit that sign in. Now we still have the options for you to ask questions of your employees when they're signing in. You may want to ask them what building or what area of the building they're visiting. That can be for contact tracing. So we can go ahead and come in here, and I'm just going to say I'm going to go to the main business office. Now again, these are completely customizable, and you and or your customer can set this up yourselves for your account. Then you can ask those COVID-19 tracking questions, just like what we've seen before. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to say yes, that I do have flu-like symptoms. So you can see what that looks like with those rules that I've set up in place about how to deny access and notify managers. Now you don't have to do that, but that is something that we have put in place. So we've got here, these are those options about how you can deny access. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to now take you into the account. And what I have here, you can see a visitor's recently signed in. Now what I have here is our sign in, sign out view. So if you have a guard or receptionist or a front of house team that needs to sign people in and out, you can easily do that here, hitting that visitor sign in button. And then you can just go ahead and sign in those details as you're asking them, as they're telling you their name and their details. So visiting options, all still the same as what you saw for a visitor. And then those COVID screening questions. We don't have the signature option because you can't really turn your screen around and ask them to sign something. But you can have a yes, I agree, or no, I don't agree, or confirm type question. And that's still saying that yes, they're telling you everything that they know is true to date when it comes to their health. So this is what that receptionist view looks like. Now, just to show you what the back end of an account of an admin screen, this is what you would see here. These colors are completely customizable to change for your own branding colors. And we go ahead and choose our locations. Now we do support enterprise type solutions. So if you have multiple buildings that you want to have WhosOnLocation at, you can deploy them easily in a single account. You can have power users that see every location, or you can drill it down to which users here, employees, if they're admins, only need to see that location when they sign in. We'll go ahead and view that location. So what we've got here are all the different settings that you can quickly configure. Now I'm just going to click on kiosk so you can see what that looks like. The great news is we do not charge per kiosk. The only cost to you would be the hardware that you may want to use. But you can have as many kiosks and sign-in stations as you need per location. So we understand that you might have multiple entry and exit points, and that's absolutely supported. And the other great news is you can mix and match hardware. So some of them you might want to have an iPad or maybe a Windows tablet, and others you might just want to have a standard PC. So just to show you what that QR code poster looks like, I'll just click on that here. Now you set this up just like any other kiosk, but I just wanted to show you the layout. So we do have an option for a QR code poster that takes no hardware at all. You just set this up in the back end of your account, customizable with the colors. The QR code is there, and you just post that up, and that allows for people to scan in and scan out very simply. And that's a quick and easy, fast deployment and solution with WhosOnLocation. We also have the option for you to customize what that mobile sign-in looks like. And you can have logos in here and colors and welcome greetings. It's really great and customizable and user-friendly. We do suggest that you regenerate a new code every week, maybe, just because this is a static code, so it's not changing. And just for security purposes, you probably want to get a new one up there just in case. The good news is on the kiosk that code actually updates and refreshes every 30 seconds automatically. So you don't have to worry about that security on the kiosk, but for this, because it's printed out, we do suggest updating it. Now, it wasn't something that we talked about as being a COVID management tool, but another great feature that comes with every single account that we have is our evacuation tool. And that's something that lives on an app. And you just invite your staff to have that, and then they can open up that evacuation. So I'm just going to show you what that looks like. Here's that app on my phone. So if there is an emergency and you need to account for everyone in a building, you just open this up. We go ahead and run the event for the entire building, and I create that event. So now the app is talking to the application, and we're pulling through all the data of every single person who's currently signed in. So I have 6 employees on site, 1 off site, 11 visitors, and 27 contractors that I'm responsible for. I can easily hit this arrow here, and I can do a manual roll call and verify these people very quickly. If I have their cell phone number on file, I can easily call them and further verify their safety. We come back to that summary here, and you can see I've cleared 6 out of the 11 people, and this wheel here has updated. Now, if that's too slow, we do have this option to send a text message out to everyone whose cell phone number is on file that just says we've had an evacuation. Please let us know you're safe by texting back the word safe. Once they text back the word safe, you'll actually have that automatically updated here, and that wheel will update. If they respond with anything other than safe, so maybe our visitor Sam Brown is actually typing back saying, no, I'm still stuck in the building. And you would see that text message from Sam with a phone symbol next to it where you can call him and further verify his safety. So again, that's included in every single plan that we offer, and that is a great feature to have. We know most of our customers really enjoy that and do make a lot of use of that. The last little bit I want to take you into is our reporting, and that's people presence. So we can choose to look at employees, and then we choose that date range. We do hold data indefinitely as long as you're a paying customer or unless you delete that out yourself. So what we have here is I'm just going to choose this week to date, and then I'll view that report. So as you can see, I now have details on who signed in. This means my access was denied. How I tried to sign in, when I signed in, signed out, how long I've been on site, and if I was access denied, I can see that there, and questions. If I want to see any additional information in my report, I can come in here and I just tick box any of these that apply. Maybe I want to know which zone people are signing into, because we ask that question when employees are signing in. So I can now see those here listed. I can export these out as a CSV file or a PDF file anytime. So that wraps up that quick little demo that I wanted to show you, just giving you the highlights and the basics of WhosOnLocation. So now we just wanted to go ahead and wrap up and talk about those key takeaways. So this is one tool, all-in-one tools and one application to manage people presence. So we have visitors, contractors, employees, and a single solution. So we don't have to get 3 different kinds of solutions to manage those people. We have a touchless option, and there's multiple ways to deploy that and multiple ways that people can sign in a touchless, very hygienic manner. We have contact tracing with easy to access reporting and easy to use. We have health screening. So anyone entering your site, you can make sure is actually allowed to be there. And it might be beyond just health screening, just to make sure that people are answering those questions and allowing them to be on site. And it's simple to use and easy to deploy. We are cloud-based, so there's no downloads, there's no license upgrades. Everything is instant at your fingertips. You just need internet to access.